Hello and welcome back to the RetroVerse, except I'm not in the RetroVerse, I'm on the road again. And today is the 27th of July and today I'm heading to the Northern Toy Fair at Gateshead International Stadium. So this is 1 week on from the Nerd Summerfest in the same place, only this time, for some reason, the kids didn't want to come with us to a toy fair. I know, I can't believe it either. I'm not sure there's going to be anything retro gaming related, but it will be nice to see some retro toys. And just for the usual people in my subscribers, I'm actually looking at getting into those classic Tiger LCD handheld games. Those little units, I've been looking them up. And God, it's brought back some nostalgic memories, so I'm going to try and get into them. The dream would be to get a sealed new Turtles one. Don't think I'll find it here today, but if I did, God, that would be unbelievable. But let's get into the toy fair and have a look around.
Right, so I'm having a little walk around Northern Toys Fair here in Gateshead on Sunday just gone. And there was a lot of sellers here with quite a lot of old toys and a lot of those old tin type toys with cars and stuff. And cool Dalek here. And then I seen this ray gun, which was pretty mental. Especially the price, I'll point out.
125 quid for that ray gun thing. Mental.
Some gigantic trains, and then for some bizarre reason, there was naked action men in this box behind here. That was a bit weird seeing that. Yeah, very, very peculiar. Not sure what's happened to their clothes. So there was a couple of game sellers. Here's one here that had some PS1 games, but there wasn't really any that I wanted, if I'm honest. There wasn't any big hitter titles. Plenty of fodder though. PS3, Wii, PS2, 360. Your usual shelf fillers. Pretty good deal, I suppose. 3 for a £5, depending on the title. That this really good seller here with all this old school Star Wars stuff. Now, I'm not really into Star Wars toys. I only remember what I used to play with in primary school. But a lot of this stuff was like really expensive, especially these single figures in the little baggies. And he had quite a lot of box stuff as well at the back here. Then I seen this cool Hong Kong Fooey plush, who a friend of mine's been after for a while. I might have to get that for him next time if I see it. And then I seen a couple of weird stuff here. There's Bagpuss and Scooby-Doo. Safari Scooby-Doo? No, not Scooby-Doo. Shaggy. I was going to say Shaggy-Doo. I don't know what Shaggy's last name is. Yeah, this guy had a couple of games here. Picked out Pimp My Ride, classic MTV show. Remember that back in the day with the old exhibit.
Nice.
And then I just noticed this in the cabinet. And what is this? Some sort of naked baby or naked man in a plane. I've no idea what that is. This seller had a lot more premium type stuff, and I noticed these G.I. Joe stuff at the top. Yes, in England, I did actually used to have these figures, but they were called Action Force. Action Force is the code name. But really, you can tell by the theme tune that it is G.I. Joe and not Action Force. But I did have the VHSs of Action Force and the figures. I noticed these cool McBain characters from the movies that play in The Simpsons.
McBain.
My daughter's graduating from college.
Little Susie's growing up.
And as soon as we nail Mendoza, my old lady and I are going to sail around the world like we always wanted. We just christened the boat.
And it always reminds us of that classic clip where they that copper with his live forever boat and then he gets blasted to pieces, which is just hilarious. A couple of more classic figures there. Scarface, Tony Montana there. And some pretty good Predator figures here. I mean, one of these days I am going to buy a Predator figure because I love Predator so much. Obviously a boxed one, just my usual style, but I do love the Predator figures. They just look awesome. The detail on them is unbelievable. Did see a couple of Austin Powers figures knocking around, which I thought was a bit weird, but also it did make us laugh quite a few times. This guy had some of those old school Ghostbusters figures, the originals, and then again I've seen this Technodrome before, but I haven't seen this Thundercats toy before. I mean, it was massive, absolutely huge, that. With some Thundercats figures as well. Really good to see that. Now you've got some He-Man stuff, and then there was an Atari, one of the new release models. Some classic wrestling figures here with Scott Steiner, the original before he became Big Papa Pump. Holla if you hear me. And this guy, these two look like the real deal. These had the proper stuff. Everything was in sort of proper cases here, as you can see, all individually packaged. There's some more stuff on the table. I noticed these little bits and bobs. This Hook figure, 20 quid, looked absolutely nothing like Robin Williams. And then I had this Highlander figure. I didn't even know there was a cartoon or a series of this.
In the end, there can be only one.
Exactly. Obviously I've seen the TV show and I know the films, but I didn't know there was a cartoon one, or they made an action figure line. So that was unusual to see, which is always good to see weird stuff. Seen these, what's this, Star Force? Look like a bit of a rip-off, or is that a genuine, like, old school series? Notice the classic, and my bow. Absolutely. Legolas there, tremendous in the Two Towers. Yeah, here they've got a load of these individually boxed figures up of classic ones. And these guys were probably the best sellers there that I'd seen, just for the sort of premium type toys that they had. Seen it, Spice Girls doll there, which I was like, I totally remember them, but I was like, right, okay. Again, some more Aliens and Predator stuff there. Walter White looking weird.
Austin's ready for a shag.
Oh, behave.
Exactly, Austin, that's what I'm talking about. I noticed a couple of these. I wasn't sure if this was 3D printed, but old Crichton from Red Dwarf, I thought was a pretty good model of his face. And I had this Game Boy Color organizer. I wasn't sure if that was genuine or not. I was going to have a look and check it up, but it was pretty beefy, and I thought, well, I'll take a lot of space up in the RetroVerse. That's some pretty cool Earthworm Jim characters and figures, which I'd never seen these figures before either. And then Apollo Creed here, absolute legend.
There is no tomorrow.
Rest in peace, Apollo. And then the new Tron movie's coming out soon. That looks absolutely tremendous. I've seen the trailer on that. Really looking forward to seeing that. And then look at some of these big box here. Street Sharks there. It's this massive compound for Jurassic Park. I mean, the box was pretty shabby, but bloody hell, it was massive. And in that condition, you just think, from original toy line, that's got to be worth an absolute bomb, that. Spaceballs again, they're coming back with a new Spaceballs movie. That'll be hilarious. Some good Ghostbusters stuff on card there. And you can't go wrong with a Terminator, can you? There was quite a few Pokemon sellers and stuff, but again, I'm just not into Pokemon cards whatsoever. And there was quite a lot specialising in booster packs and stuff like that, and different lines. I was like, not really my sort of thing. This Super Scope was alright, but the top edge was pretty rough, and I was like, I do actually need a Super Scope. I did have one originally. I'd have to buy some batteries, obviously. And this seller was a bit weird. He had a load of original bubblegum cards and trading cards. There's a Dick Tracy one there, Nicky, if you're watching. Not sure if you've seen that. Obviously, Nicky at Retro Bunga's a big Dick Tracy fan. Had some pretty cool overall sticker packs and stuff, but it was a fun event for a nice little walk around on a Sunday afternoon, but sadly I didn't pick up anything, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back with my usual content at the weekend. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.